Hello, my viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Unspoken. I am your host, Princess Beth. We are here today, back again, in our last show of the Unspoken in 2020. Yeah, and today we have a very wonderful, beautiful guest. Nikianza kumuintroduce hata siwezi maliza. Yani her titles are so many. She's a worshipper. She's a born again woman of God. She's a preacher. She's a politician. Oh my God. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it to her. She introduced herself, but before that, first and foremost, I want to thank the Almighty God for giving us this chance here today in the Unspoken in ETV Kenya. I also want to thank my spiritual father, Apostle Sami Kairu, who is the founder of ETV Kenya and also the founder of CCF Church. We are located in Kariobangi at a stage called Kwambao. You can visit us any day, anytime. You're much welcome for spiritual nourishment and any other thing that you want to maybe to be helped. You're much welcome. And so today we're having a guest by the name Cyndy, and she'll introduce herself, and she gave us a very capturing theme of her story, rising like the other one. The other one, she'll explain what that means. Is it Phoenix? Is it Phoenix? Is it in Phoenix? I don't know. Yeah, karibu sana Cyndy. Yeah, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers. What an introduction that is. I'm so humbled and honored to be here one more time. It's not my first time in the show. Yes, and I really thank you people for the opportunity of actually bringing me on board another time.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Cyndy Nyamolo. Cyndy Nyamolo is a Hebrew woman. I think that sums it all. I'm called the Hebrew woman. And this is a prophetic name that I got in church. And you all know I deliver before the midwives come, so that's why I'm the Hebrew woman.
Oh, pardon?
I deliver before the midwives come.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the nature of the Hebrew women to actually deliver before the midwives come. Yes.
Oh, that's
That
why you
is
call
where-
yourself a Hebrew woman.
Exactly.
I didn't even understand the meaning of that. Now I know.
Yes, I don't wait for opportunities to actually show up. I will go for them.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, indeed,
It's-
you're a
it's
go-getter girl.
wonderful to be here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For the few years I've known you, indeed, you're a go-getter girl. Thank you so much, viewers, for them that are tuning in, for them that are sharing our post today. Yeah, you can comment. You're free to comment and tell us where you're watching us from, and the Lord will bless you. So, Cyndy, straight to the theme of today, straight to the business of today. You gave us a theme, rising like a phoenix. What's that?
Oh my. So rising like a phoenix. A phoenix is more of let me use an eagle for those who maybe are getting it for the first time. But this is a special kind of a bird. One unique thing about it is that it will rise from ashes. I mean, if its predecessor dies, then the leftovers of that predecessor is what is believed to be actually bringing out another one. Yes, and they are also known because of their strength. It's a very strong creature. It will see its enemy and it will go after it and it will grab it, no matter how the situation looks like. So it shares a lot of characteristics with the eagle. Yes. So that is all
Wow, so you said
about
it's
a phoenix.
It's
Yeah.
Phoenix, not in Phoenix. Okay. Wow. So, Cyndy, you can tell us more about yourself and your story. Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you. One reason as to why I actually agreed to maybe come to share out my story in here, it's not because maybe I have a very interesting story that is even unique in a way, but one thing that I love about my life is that it has been a life of not giving up. It has been a life of no matter the losses that I get, I will still be the boss. It has been a life of, I have to change my scars to be my stars. It's been a life of ups and downs, but above all, the Lord has graced me always to actually focus ahead on what purpose that I had in life. maybe if I touch a little bit on my family, I was not so much privileged to be raised up in a very rich background. I will say we were not that poor that we lacked every day, but it was a moderate family, you know. And then being brought up in the village, there are a lot of shortcomings that we experience, especially as ladies. I am sorry to say this because I do a lot of women empowerment, but especially to us ladies, there are a lot of, let me say, misfortunes that we may face at a very tender age, maybe lack of sanitary towels, lack of, you know, all that when we were growing up. So it was a difficult childhood. It was a very difficult childhood, lack of food, lack of shelter, lack of school fee at some point. But I thank God that He gave me the strength to, you know, still look at the mark, because I am not better off than my friends who maybe gave up because of the hard conditions that they were raised up in. But we thank God that I got my energy from the fact that, you know, I'm the Hebrew woman. I will rise. Like a phoenix, I will rise. I will not care how hard life is, and I'm not giving up any soon. So one thing that I say about myself is that I am born never to give up. Yes.
So you brought up in such a family, like where are you guys living?
We were we were living back in the village in Nyakach, sub-county, the village called Wasare. So it happened that we were brought up in Wasare, and yeah, it does. I don't think if it's appearing in any map, but it's
I've never heard of such.
it's back in the village. Yeah, I love my place. I
Which
love my
county?
place. It's in Kisumu County.
Oh, Kisumu County.
Yes.
Oh, so that's where you were brought up. Yeah, briefly tell us about that background, as in your background, your schooling.
Okay. When I was growing up, I was not a sharp student. Let me start from there. I was not a sharp student. I never used to perform well like other students could perform well. And maybe the reason as to why I never used to perform well is low self-esteem. I actually had a very low self-esteem to a point that I could not talk before people, in front of people. I could not do anything. I lacked confidence so much. So when we were going for our primary school, it was a public school. I remember during those times we didn't have chairs and all that, so we didn't also have books. So we were actually seated on the floor, and then you remember, I don't know if you went to such schools, those decimal schools, you know, you could carry cow dung when you're going. Sometimes you have to carry firewood for the teachers. That is how we used to do it back then. And because most of us were not privileged to even have books, we could be writing on the floor, and then once the teacher has checked your work, you will rub it and then write again. So that used to be our book. So that is how life was. And you know, we were so much limited. We were so much limited with a lot of resources. So a lot of us were like, really, people make it to high schools. How? You know? And that is how we grew up. I used to be this kind of a person with a weird personality because I was so shy. I really had low self-esteem. Number one is because I never used to perform well in class, which I didn't understand why. And number two is because maybe I felt I was not like other people. I used to live a life of, I wished I was born in that family. I wished I was born in that family, that parent who has this and this and this. So it went on till a point when I was in class 2. When I was in class 2, my dad decided to take me to a private school, which to me was one of the very best things that I've ever experienced in
Private
life.
school.
Yes.
Alikuwa amepata tu pesa
Pesa tu
sasa?
alianza
Okay.
kuomoka. So when I went to this private school, now my self-esteem became worse. Because, you know, I'm from the public sector. I'm from the public institution. And these are students who are speaking Swahili and English. And, you know, they are from well-off families. They're being dropped with cars. But you're there with an old uniform and all that. You know, you're feeling inadequate in the presence of your fellow friends. So I never used to perform still. So what I used to do, I requested our teacher, I remember, to make me sit with the person who was always topping the class, which he did. So every single time we were doing exam, I could look at, during those times, they used to write for us the questions on the blackboard and then people will answer. So I could look at where his eyes is looking at the most. I mean, if there is a question like, what is the color of milk? And then there is white, black, and maybe green. So I will look at where he's looking at so much and say, this is the answer. You know? That is
Guesswork.
guesswork. And so I started gaining, strength and all that, of course, with time. I don't know how it happened that by the time I was finishing my primary school, I was the one who was topping in that institution. But it didn't just come like that. I know a lot of us really suffer from low self-esteem because of maybe being brought up in poor backgrounds, you know. But one thing I came to realize in life is that we don't have a choice of where to be born, but we have a choice of how to die or where to die. Where to die, you know? Because not all of us will be born with golden spoons. Not all of us will be born with very good families. But you have the choices that will actually make you to be the kind of a parent that you want for your kids, to ensure that your children are not passing through the same life you passed through when you were little. Yes.
Wow. So that's the same school that you managed to go up to class 8, the private school?
Not really. I am a pastoralist when it comes to schools. I think I could not stay for 2 years in a school. I used to be shifted and shifted and shifted. I don't know what my dad was actually looking for. But after every single 2 years, I was in a different school. After every single 2 years, I was in a different school. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So briefly tell us now about your high school, a bit of your high school.
My high school was a very reserved one. Actually, when I did my class 8, I did my class 8 when I was passing through a lot of challenges with my family, with everything. But then I was not even born again and everything. So it was so challenging that I didn't perform as I expected to perform. And to me, I thought that was the end of life. And I started comparing myself with people. Now look, she has 400 marks. Now look, she has 390 marks. Now look, she has performed well. But I came to realize that everything happens for good, by the way. Because in class 6, 7, I was always topping. So when it came to class 8, I experienced, I think, the worst year of my life. So my results started deteriorating. But I didn't perform that badly. But it's only that people expected that, you know, this lady, she's supposed to be getting 400 plus, you know. Then I didn't meet the expectations of people. And that is now where the rain started beating me. I started feeling like, oh my goodness, how did I not perform? How did I not perform? How did I not perform? But by the grace of God, I got grades that could take me to a good school. I was called to join Kisumu Girls High School. So I joined Kisumu Girls High School. It was a challenge, it was a challenge, it was a challenge. It was a whole challenge.
Why?
Because by then, we didn't have enough, let me say, we didn't have money. My family had just broken apart. A lot was happening. My other siblings, it was a broken family by the time I was joining Form 1.
What do you mean by that?
What happened, it was my dad married another woman, and then you see
They
this polygamous
separated.
setup, and things that started separating, you know. My mom went her way and all that, children separated and all that. So by the time I was joining Form 1, we didn't even have finances to sort out things, you know. So my dad was actually straining because it was not only me who is joining high school, the other ones are also in high school. There is no enough school fee for them. Yes, and I can say and strongly say that I finished my high school by the grace of God. Because to date, he doesn't understand how he cleared my feet. I also don't understand how I cleared my school
In
fee.
Kisumu Girls.
In Kisumu Girls. But God was so faithful. I remember giving my life to Christ in Form 2. Yes, when I just washed my everything that I owned. You know, my one pair of uniform and my bed sheets and socks, and then somebody went and stole everything that I had washed that day. So I sat down and I cried and I was like, should I steal this should I repay? Because I was feeling like, how is it possible that these people are stealing from me, yet I'm the one who doesn't actually have? I position myself with the students who don't have. They're not privileged enough. But then here I am, and then whatever little thing that I have is still is also taken away. So it really disturbed me. And to me, I think that was a turning point. All this time I had known God, I was praying, but I had never given my life to Christ. So that day, I found myself giving my life to Christ.
Because of the pain?
Because of the pain that I had. Shida inatupelekanga kwa Mungu. Problems always take us. So yes, that is how I gave my life to Christ. It was worth it. It was. I have never regretted. I have never regretted even a single time of giving my life to Christ.
Yeah. So
that
you
was
managed to pass your Form 4s.
Exactly.
And so you joined.
Yes. So high school was a bit tough, like I said, but we conquered. I was in a very focused institution, so my Form 4, I performed well. I was trying to repay the pain that I experienced in Class 8. I was trying to repay. By the grace of God, I got good grades again, and I got an A minor, yes, and then I joined Kenyatta University, where we met.
Oh, wow. So that was the life, okay. When you look at a person, you can really know, you cannot know her background and how she managed to be there. Yeah, and so you joined KU. I know you as a politician. You're 4 years in campus. Oh my God! Can you just tell us about that as you relate it now to the theme that you gave us today?
Okay.
Yep.
When I was in high school, just to add on that, I happened to be in leadership, but it was a different kind of leadership because I was in charge of the religious groups, that is Christian Union. So I happened to be in leadership in the Christian Union, that is in Form 3 and Form 4. So when I joined campus, it was a different story. There is something in me that I think it took a long time to be birthed. That is the leadership, the gift of leadership. I don't even call it politics. It's more of leadership. Yeah, but the setup is different because I've been a leader from a very young age. You realize that even those times that I was shy in primary, they could still put me to be the monitor of a class. And I was like, what is this teacher what is he seeing in me? I don't even talk in front of people. How is he putting me to be a monitor? Then by the time I was in class 8, I was the head girl. And I'm the head girl, but still I'm like, mbona unanichagua kuwa head girl? You know, I'm trying to run away from it, like I was telling you before.
A leader is born.
I'm trying to run away from it.
Primary, a leader is born.
You know, so it's something that I've been trying to run away from, but it's not runnable.
It's just your thing.
Yeah, it's just my thing. So I get satisfaction when I serve. Leadership is all about servanthood, and I get satisfaction when I serve. It's not about being the boss. It's not about being the person who matters. Whenever you are in a point whereby, like, you're so much, how do I put it? You're capable of showing the way to the people, and at the same time, you're so much capable of knowing where you're going, you are a leader. So it is a gift that I can say that had been birthed from inside of me for a very long time. So when I joined campus, I didn't know that I would join politics. That was the last thing that I could ever think about, because when I was in Form 4, I was looking forward to, joining campus so that I be the preacher, I be the pastor, I be the worship coordinator, because I was the CU chairperson.
You were that fire girl.
I was that fire girl. Yes. So when I joined Form 1, first year, I found myself just starting to love. I was now getting what I love. So I was like, okay, this is something I've missed for a very long time. So anytime I could see somebody who is vying, I started being interested. I want to be your friend, I want to be your friend and all that.
First year?
When I was in first year, yes. So I started aligning myself with these leaders bit by bit. Just, I'm a very outgoing person. So that is how I found myself in the cocoon of politicians. Till I think it's been an amazing journey, you know that. It has been an amazing journey. My first time to vie was hell. It was hell because I was actually now facing the reality of, kumbe siasa inakwanga hivi. It was so hard. I had very tough opponents and all
When
that.
was
In Kitui campus.
Oh, as in which year?
Yeah. And then was it third year or second
We
year?
were supposed to have a drink.
Oh. Yes, that was in third year, during my third year. And it was hard because, I was there doing it for the first time. The reality is it's now real. I'm not supporting a candidate. I'm now the candidate to be supported. And I have to convince people that I am the right candidate for this position. So it was not easy. But I thank God that every single thing that I do in life, God has always been at the center of it all. And there is nothing that I've ever tried to do as an individual without involving God. I will say, God, ebu niambie manzi, should we go ahead or should we cancel this? I remember before launching my campaigns, I had to go to Katoloni for prayers with a few friends because I was doubting if this is really what I need to actually face. Is it really my line of calling? Is it, I know I'm a leader, but is it this kind of leadership? And God assured me that, you know what, daughter, you have to go for this. And I saw the grace of God.
And I remember you didn't even vie for long.
Yes, yes. I saw the hand of God.
So you got convinced that this is your thing.
That is where I actually knew my purpose in life was to be an empowerment to the young people, to give back to the community, and to see other people rising as well. So that is how the political aspect of my journey came in. And from there, I've never stopped. I remember when we got transferred to main campus, it was still the same story. Yes.
Yeah, you can tell us about that. I want our viewers today to get to know how the transition from one campus to another, and you vie, and you also win in the other campus. We want to encourage people outside there and telling them that everything is possible. Rising like a phoenix, how the transition came in. Yeah, you can explain to us that deeply.
When I was in Kitui, I was in Kitui campus before I came to main campus.
Still in Kenyatta University?
Yes, Kitui Kenyatta University.
Okay.
So when I was there, the very first time I vied, in as much as people were so sure that I'm going to win, myself, I was not so sure. So, everyone had confidence, and people were like, don't even vie. You have this thing. People, what humbles me is how people believed in me even before I believed in myself. And I said, I'm not going to disappoint any person who trusted me with their votes. And it's a challenge that I took upon myself, and I served those constituents of mine. I really love them. To date, I really do love them. So when I serve them, they say the world is a small place. Just be nice to people, because you never know
where you'll meet,
where you're going to meet next.
Exactly.
So immediately my reign was done when people were actually preparing for the second phase of elections. We got transferred. Okay, I got transferred. Not everyone got transferred. So I got transferred to another campus.
Still in third year or?
When we were
Fourth
now
year.
getting to fourth year.
Okay.
So I got transferred to another campus. And like in these politics, for you to be a fourth year and you're vying and you get that position is a bit hard.
It's not
But
easy.
people have a lot of notions with 4 years. Oh, you'll eat our money
Because
you won't have time for us because you're a fourth year. So when I went to main campus, I remember I reported on the very last day when guys were taking nomination papers and all that. The very first thing I went, when I was given my room, I knelt down and prayed. And I told God, God, I thank you and I bless you because you've made me reach safely and all that. And in the midst of my prayer, I felt it down in my spirit that I'm going to give you this, so you have to go for it. Then I was like, okay, the Bible tells me that every single place that I step on, I shall
process
it. And that is how I just rose, went for my nomination papers. I'm new.
And you're new.
I don't know anyone.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
most of them, if they're watching this, they are going to realize that I was not with them all that. I mean, majority think that I've been there for the last 3 years.
Walikuwa wanavote wakijua you've
Yeah.
been there.
So they were
And
actually
now that
voting,
Kenyatta
knowing
University
that
is
I
a
have
big
been
campus,
Exactly. And you know, it was now this was a bit different. But what I loved about it is that I at least had a little bit experience of what politics is, how campus politics is. So I at least had that motivation of, you know, you conquered the first one. So even this one, you're going to conquer. Yes. And we went for the nomination papers, and I got signatures, enough signatures, and I thank God that God connected me to the right people for it. You know, company really matters. Like we say, when you walk with two broke men, you become the third broke man. Company really matters. God connected me to, I call them my destiny connectors. They really, really helped me to pursue my dreams and all that. You know, because I remember by the time we were launching campaigns, my opponents had gone further ahead. They had even finished. They had actually finished campaigning, and people were waiting for elections. But I thank God that God connected me to true friends. I mean, people who are there to support my vision, to understand me. They were always there with me in everything and thing. The journey is not easy because at the end of the day, you know, you've been insulted by this one. You don't even know whether, you know, should you even step down or what. But God became so faithful that by the time, by the day of the election, I think we were only 2 people on the race. Initially, we were even more than that. Yes.
Pardon?
On the day of election, we were actually now 2 people on the race who are vying. The other one stepped down, and you know, and a lot of people voted for me without knowing me. Why? Because my constituents back in Kitui campus, they were actually, a majority of them were actually campaigning for me in their wherever they were. So they were like, you know, she did a good work. She will do you a good work. You know, just be nice to people. You don't know where you're going to meet next.
Wow.
So I think what I did the other time actually paved way for a better ground for me.
Wow.
Because guys were like, oh, she's the one who was in Kitui campus. Yes, we've heard about her. A lot of them voted for me without knowing me. And even to date, I know that those who do not even know me, they just heard there was a Cyndy that lived here and served us. Yes.
And so you won.
And I won.
How was it like?
It was,
Did you believe that?
again, it was weird, by the way. You know, okay, in as much as we say, yeah, hii kitu tutachukua, but you're never so sure until
Ukiangalia the reality,
Yes.
like I'm new in this place.
Yes.
I don't
So, you
think
know,
so.
even there, when I launched my campaigns, my campaigns were a bit different. So guys were like, oh, you dim, you know. So majority people were voting for me because of maybe what they were hearing, because I didn't even have time to interact with them. You remember I got in on a Friday, I don't know, it's 3 days for campaigns and then elections. So I didn't even have time to actually interact with them for quite a long time. But I thank God for favor. There is this favor that you get with men. Yeah, that every single time you talk to a person, you touch them. You know, every single time you have an opportunity to share your story with them, they're touched. And they are convinced that you're the right person for this. And like the Bible says, and I do say this several times, that when the rush is real, people rejoice. It had been my slogan. I would say that, God, you know, I will not allow a wrong person to go on that seat if I am capable. Because it's more of being able to serve God before serving men. Yes.
And that's what most people don't understand. They think that being a boss, being a leader it's more of being a boss, and they forget that this is a service. In fact, they're the one who should do more than any other person.
It is servanthood. Like even Christ is our leader, because we emulate what Christ used to do. But all his entire life, it has been servanthood. All his entire life, it has been servanthood. Yes.
Okay.
That is the best example we can have when it comes to leadership.
And so the last question that I have for you today, Cyndy, I believe that you're a Christian, you're a born-again person, you're a worshiper, you are a preacher, and most of the Christians today, they don't believe that politics and Christianity, it's one and the same thing. Has that been a challenge to you?
I will say, actually, one thing that actually drove me to politics is the fact that I was seeing non-believers in these positions, and I don't like the way the, let me say, the way they're serving. You know how the system of our country is, squandering of money, resources. Like things are just messed up. And I told myself, it is time we fix this nation. And the Bible put it clearly that when the righteous rule, people rejoice. So I think we should come to a point that we understand that if a believer is in these positions, then the story should be different. The only challenge with believers is that whenever they get these positions, they also try to, be carried away with the norm and with the tradition that they gather, which should not be the case. Yes, but once I believe and I pray for a country that is so much prayerful, that will only happen if our leaders are people who, they know God. They truly know God. Not silly jokes that now that I want to vie, I will go to the pastor for blessings. No, they have that personal relationship with God. Yes. So I think a lot of people may be discouraging politics from all this, but I view it differently. In fact, I need to see pastors in the Senate. I want a situation whereby, we are in the Senate and we have time to pray in tongues for the nation. Wow. Yes. It is a very different setup. And that is a point whereby, people, our leaders actually understand. They have a relationship with God. A leader is somebody who will show you where to go to. He is the head. He will tell you, this is right, this is wrong. But then if he doesn't have a relationship with God, it becomes very hard for him to lead the right way. You get. So I am looking forward for a time whereby our leaders are people, the people who we give these positions, they're people who have a personal relationship with God. That is when our country will heal, by the way. That is when our country will heal. Because if I have a relationship with God, then I know I need to have integrity. I need to put my constituents' needs at hand. I need to pray for my constituents. A lot of problems that we are facing in this nation, Minister Beth, it's just because we are not having right people in these positions. Yeah. But we'll only have right people if we can give opportunity to those who know God to have the positions. Yes. So to me, I will encourage any single born-again person who is vying for a position. I will give you 100% support. Why? Because I am so much convinced that it will be a different story. It will be totally a different story. Yes.
That means that you still serve in church? Okay, that has not been a great challenge.
I do serve in church. I do serve in church. I will serve in church on Sunday. All over the week, I will be doing my politics outside. I will be doing my empowerment. I will be doing my transformation programs. I will be giving back to the society. I will be meeting and giving hope to those who are hopeless, and being an activism when it comes to when it comes to matters of FGM, Yeah, such
okay.
things.
And I also know you as a person who impacts women in the society. Can you briefly tell us about that part of your life?
Wow, thank you. I think maybe that alone sums it all, because the reason as to why I'm so much into empowerment is because I was not privileged enough to be empowered. These are programs that we lack in the village. And my entire life, even in high school, I could get out of school and go back to the village. So the only time I could interact with speakers and people who had, done a lot out there was maybe in high school probably. But in our primary schools, we were never privileged to have those. So it became a challenge to me because sometimes I sit back and I reflect my life and I say, there is a lady struggling just like I struggled. And because I understand the pain of being a lady back then, I can be a source of hope to her. That is what actually gives me that urge to, keep on, because it's a life that I experienced. When I talk about menstrual hygiene, I lacked sanitary when I was growing up. So I find it easy to talk to you about menstrual hygiene and how you can go about it. When we are talking about having programs for women, hand-to-hand programs like making soap, making mats, weaving, plaiting, we are trying to tell them to be empowered economically. They don't have to wait for white collar jobs to have a stable family. They can use what they have. It is because we were raised in families whereby we lacked, but we lacked because we were not exposed to opportunities that existed. Yes. So that is where I get my satisfaction. Basically, actually, what I do, 80% of what I do revolves around women empowerment. Yes. And being a woman empowerment person doesn't mean, how do they call them? How do they call? Did I make Yes. How do they call these people who are so much into women empowerment and looking down upon men?
But we get the point.
They get it.
Oh, so Cyndy, are you done with campus or still in campus?
Yeah, I'm done with campus by the grace of God. We just cleared it up
Okay.
during this COVID period.
Mhm.
I actually studied economics and statistics.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
so we are done.
So what are you up to? What are you doing outside here? Is it still politics?
I do a lot. I'm dressed by Creativity, so that is a brand that I will take a grenade for. So that means I manage a cloth line. It's called Creativity Designs. We make outfits for people. That is one of the things that I enjoy doing. It's more of fashion. And I also still do a lot of empowerment programs and giving back to the society. Yes, apart from that, ministry is still here with me. Yeah, so I've never given, I think finishing campus has actually given me an opportunity to even do more things, because getting into the media industry very soon, that is an opportunity that I got. Yes. Yeah, so we never stopped from where we were. We are rising like a phoenix. We keep rising every single time. Yes.
Yeah, and so maybe you can also tell us if you are free. If you are free telling us this, are you married, single, dating, engaged? Are you in an entanglement?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't have a ring on my finger. I am single.
So you're not
Yes.
married? Wow.
I am not married.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we are trusting the Lord at the right time.
Mhm.
When everything is right, I will bring the right person.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
Mhm.
you so much. Thank you so much, Cyndy. I call you Honorable Cyndy because politicians are known as honorable people. Yeah, thank you so much for accepting our invite today here in ETV Kenya. And indeed, I can relate now to. I think I can say I now know you better. Rising like I feel. By the way, you're Cindy viewers. Cindy is a woman who is unpredictable. I mean, you see, like she's a go-getter. Leo akisema anataka hii na amesema leo hakuisema jana ataipata. That's what I mean by saying she's so unpredictable, but in a good way. Everything that she does huwa ina prosper. Everything that she wants anapata. And that's why I believe alitupea this theme of today, rising like a phoenix. And you also outside there, maybe there's something that you have a dream, there's something that you want to achieve, but unajitunisha, you feel like you're not worth it. I think you should get this story and use it as an inspiration. Cyndy, you can also encourage someone outside there who is in such a situation, mwenye maybe anataka kupata kitu lakini anajitunisha. What can you tell such kind of a person?
Thank you one more time. I will borrow from the words of one of my favorite authors. It's God Broke. That is a book written by Reinhard Teller. He tells us in his book that life is a fight for territory. And when you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want automatically takes over. What does this mean? If I hate poverty and I don't fight towards eradicating poverty, then poverty will actually take over. If I want success and I don't fight for success, then it means failure will take over. I would like to encourage somebody that where you are right now does not really matter. You need to actually focus on whatever place that you want to be in the near future. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for moderate success, because you have the potential inside of you to become who you want to become and to do what you want to be. Between B and D, Reinhard says this most of the time in his book. He says that between when you're born and when you die, there are choices that we'll make in life. So these choices will actually determine where you are in life. Yes, and maybe the last thing that I will say that let people's opinions not define who you are. Some of us, people talked and told that, oh, she's not going to make it in campus. Oh, she's not going to make it in high school. You know how words have power? Yeah, but then we actually decided to rise above the storm. Why? Because we have a purpose. We had a purpose before people had opinions. So people's opinions should actually not determine who we are or determine where we are going. Because at the end of the day, God has put a specific purpose for each and every one of us. At the end of the day, there is a writer who says that the grave is the richest. It is the richest place. Why? Because we have books that are there that were unwritten. We have songs that are unwritten. People died without actually unleashing the full potential inside of them. So let no one demean you. Let no one bring you down. You have to rise up like an eagle. You have to rise up like a phoenix and conquer. Yes, you have to conquer all the odds, because life is a fight for a territory. If you're not fighting for your territory, Minister Beth, there is someone who is fighting to actually have your territory with him. Yes.
Wow. That is awesome. Thank you, viewers, for them that have tuned in today, for them that are continuing in. Jerome Moja says, looking nice. Raphael tuned in from Kajiado County. Thank you, Raphael. Kasim Jr. watching live from Kadajabula, Wajir County. Wow. Viva Cyndy. You mean any uko na influence hadi Wajir?
Be God.
Moving, Cyndy. Wow. Daphne says, Daphne Paul, that's my best friend. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Daphne. Yeah, Kimathi Kirimi has put some emoji there, love emoji for you, Cyndy. Yeah, thank you so much for being our guest and for honoring our invite today. And also maybe there's a group, there's another empowerment group outside there. They may want to call you for you to meet them to empower women or such. Where can such people get you?
Thank you so much. We currently run an organization in Nairobi. It's called Lampara, Kenya. Lampara means light. Lampara. Okay. Lampara means light in Spanish. This was a name that was also birthed in church. Yes. So in Lampara, Kenya, we give back smiles. We bring back the smiles. And to those people in my village, because my village is where my story began, that is Nyakach. We are having a very great organization called Great Daughters of Nyakach. Great Daughters of Nyakach, we do a lot of empowerment programs actually back in the village. We are having projects even tomorrow. We are having another project of building a Santa home for a family that is underprivileged. So you can check out our social media pages at Great Daughters of Nyakach in Instagram, in Facebook, yes, and Lampara Kenya as well in Instagram and Facebook. And you can also send us an email. Yeah, you can reach out to me through my social media handles. It's Cyndy Nyamolo. Cyndy Nyamolo in all social media platforms. Facebook, Cyndy Nyamolo. Instagram, Cyndy Nyamolo. Twitter, Cyndy Nyamolo.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Cyndy. Yeah, thank you to our viewers for tuning in today. And it was indeed very wonderful, motivating, and inspiring story from Cyndy Nyamolo. Personally, I've been motivated so much. I need to rise like a phoenix. All right. Yeah, Eagles it's an old-fashioned name now. Yeah, so we need to rise like a phoenix. Yeah, thank you so much. Until next time, let's meet here in ETV in the Unspoken. Bye.